Boiler sponsors the weather on GB News.
Hello again, very good evening to you. I'm back with your GB News weather update coming to you from the Met Office. We still have an extreme heat warning out, an amber one across some eastern parts of England through Saturday. Whilst there is fresher air coming in, some of that residual heat is trapped across some eastern parts, so still uncomfortably hot and humid here. Further north and west, a big talking point, the thunderstorms. A lot of the ones over northern England, Northern Ireland, they're clearing through at the moment, but across parts of Scotland, the thundery risk continues into the early hours of tomorrow morning, and also we will then see a few showers developing in parts of the southeast. A lot of dry weather in between across the bulk of England and Wales. Still warm and humid towards eastern parts, but further north and west a bit fresher, a bit more comfortable than some recent nights perhaps. Then into tomorrow morning, well, a cloudy start across much of Scotland. A bit of sunshine perhaps towards the northeast, but yes, generally quite grey. There will be some rain around, but it's not looking as heavy or as thundery as what we're seeing at the moment and overnight. Also across Northern Ireland, bit of cloud, bit of rain towards the west in particular, and down the western side of England and also Wales. Bit of cloud here, some rain pushing through at times, but it's not a total washout by any means. Across more central eastern parts of England, it's a brighter, sunnier start to the day, and really through the day itself, we have a northwest-southeast split, staying quite cloudy, outbreaks of rain, a fresher breeze towards the northwest, drier and sunnier towards the southeast, but some showers pushing into some southeastern parts later. These could turn heavy and thundery. Still hot in the east, but not as hot as it has been, and temperatures towards the north and west, well, mid-20s really for many here. Into Sunday, and we have some cloudy wet weather sweeping its way eastwards. It's not particularly heavy rain or all that persistent, but most of us will see some outbreaks of rain, but there should be some brighter, sunnier weather around as well, and temperatures, well, they're going to be so much more comfortable for many of us than they have been recently, dropping to much closer to average for the time of year. Bye-bye.
Expect warm spells with the odd rude interruption. Boxed Boiler sponsors the weather on GB News.
Thank you, Britain, for the thousands of you who are becoming friends of GB News each and every week.
Good evening, this is the latest AI travel news from gbnews.com. The A482 is currently restricted in both directions at Ardvorlich due to a road traffic incident. Surrey's M25 anti-clockwise entry slip at Junction 9 has lane closures following a medical emergency, with delays expected to clear after 8 this evening. In Devon, there is congestion on the M5 southbound at Junction 29, causing around 10 minutes of delay. On the railways, Avanti West Coast and East Midlands Railway warn that hot weather and service disruption may impact your journey, with disruption on some routes. For more travel news, go to gbnews.com.
It's a great British giveaway Golden Summer Celebration. Your chance to win 2 fantastic prizes. There's an incredible £60,000 in tax-free cash. Plus, you'll also get your hands on a fine gold bar worth over £5,000. For a chance to win £60,000 in tax-free cash and a real gold bar, text GOLD to 63225. One entry costs £2.50 plus one standard network rate message, or text BONUS to 63225. 5 entries cost £5 plus one standard network rate message. Go to gbnews.com/win. Entry start at £2.50. Call 0903 686 3232. Calls cost £2.50 plus your network access charge. Or post your name and number to GB22 PO Box 8690 Derby DE1 9TT. UK only. Entrance must be 18 or over. Lines close at 4 p.m. on the 21st of August. This is a network giveaway. Entries will be pulled. Please check the closing time if listening or watching on demand.
Do you trust what you're being told? Good, because neither do I.
Those are just facts.
I'm Alex Armstrong, and on my show, we'll expose the spin.
Well, I want to answer that because you didn't let me last time, because you always speak over me.
The broken promises.
To deny that is denying the truth.
And the hypocrisy.
Needs to
stop.
You think we can allow?
Politics, policy, parliament. Nothing is off limits. No sugarcoating, no fear of offence, just the truth laid bare. Tune in every Saturday and Sunday at 9 p.m. for Alex Armstrong Tonight, only on GB News, Britain's news channel.
Breaking news, live updates, stories that matter.
From the heart of the GB newsroom to every corner of Britain, with our team of dedicated journalists across the UK.
GB News bulletins are there to deliver the latest news that matters to you.
Bulletins on GB News, the People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
Welcome to Lee Anderson's Real World. Tonight on the show, we have Benjamin Butterworth. He's our left in the corner, going head-to-head with political commentator Lizzie Cundy. We've also got Gareth Penn from the Hairdressing Council talking about Turkish barbershops, and British adventurer James Ketchell. But first, let's go to the news.
Good evening, it's 7 o'clock. I'm Katie Bowen in the GB newsroom. A breaking update this hour. It's understood that Home Office Minister Mike Tapp won't be sacked after the Home Secretary said he should be removed from post over an article that was, quote, out of step with official policy. In a statement, Downing Street says it's not for any individual Secretary of State to determine whether the ministerial code has been followed. It's a matter for the Prime Minister alone. Mike Tapp has been reminded of his obligations under the ministerial code, including collective responsibility and procedures relating to the clearance and presentation of government policy. Elsewhere, a provisional temperature of 37.3 degrees Celsius has been reached in Santon Downham in Suffolk, setting yet another record UK high for June. The Met Office adds that temperatures are continuing to rise and a red weather warning for extreme heat remains in place until 9 o'clock tonight. And 21-year-old Mohammed Fahir Amaz has been jailed for 3.5 years after attacking 2 police officers and a member of the public at Manchester Airport in July 2024. Amaz was convicted of assaulting PC Lydia Ward and PC Ellie Cook during the incident, and member of the public Abdul Karim Ismail. There's your latest headlines. Now it's time for Lee Anderson.
Tune in to GB News Radio wherever you are. Online, on DAB Digital Radio, on TuneIn, on Radio Player, on Nation Player and on your smart speaker. Just say, play GB News.
Welcome to Lee Anderson's Real World. I'm Lee Anderson, the Reform UK Member of Parliament for Ashfield, and our left in the corner, Benjamin Butterworth. You look like you look like you're in fancy dress, Benjamin. What's this T-shirt all about?
I've just finished a shift in the Navy, that's the thing.
Shift, yeah. That's what they call it these days. I'm bringing some common sense to the debate. We've got the very lovely Lizzie Cundy. Thanks for coming again.
Lovely to see you, Lee.
Look, this week in Westminster, we saw the arrival of the so-called King of the North. He came into Westminster Hall, hundreds of Labour MPs waiting for him, treating him like the Messiah. And it's obvious, Benjamin, to anybody who's been paying attention, that he will be the next Prime Minister of this country. But when he gets coronated, because I think he will, it'll be a coronation, there won't be a leadership contest, should there be a general election?
I don't think anything would be better by having a general election at the moment. I mean, the one thing that Britain isn't short of is instability and drama, and I think those are things that a general election would bring. The question that Andy Burnham has to answer is, what is he going to do as Prime Minister? Will there be any changes to the manifesto the Labour Party stood on? And he can outline those, and maybe in 6 months' time, if they're proving popular, it might make sense to go to the public. But actually, I think the idea that we just keep on asking the same questions without getting anything done is not what people want.
But shouldn't there at least, Benjamin, be a leadership contest so the public, the members, the Labour MPs can see what he actually stands for?
Well, to be honest, I was very keen on the heir to Blair, Wes Streeting, who I think would be a fantastic Prime Minister. So I'm pretty disappointed that there isn't a Prime Minister Streeting. However, you know, I think he has to lay out these plans, and he's got, 2.5, 3 weeks left probably by now, and then it's for him to put that to the public, you know, by announcing it. I think he's going to do a tour of the country, going around towns and cities over the summer once he's elected as Prime Minister.
So what's happened here, Lizzie, is 25,000 people in Makerfield have basically voted to choose the next Prime Minister.
Exactly, that's what's happened, because we all know that Makerfield vote was all about getting Starmer out. And all we've got with Andy Burnham, because I'm sorry, all he is a pair of eyebrows.
A pair of eyebrows?
A pair of eyebrows.
Wow.
He's parachuted in, you know, from mayor, then rushed in MP, now going to be our Prime Minister. I'm sorry. I mean, some call it a coronation. I call it manipulation. I mean, what are his real credentials?
Apart from the eyebrows.
Apart from the eyebrows and the Buddy Holly glasses and the black T-shirt. He is still Keir Starmer, but worse, because he hasn't got a plan. He hasn't got a manifesto. We don't know who's going to be in his team. Will the real Andy Burnham please stand up? Because we don't know him. We don't. And he's been mayor in Manchester, so he's had a budget to deal with, which is about...
He's been very good at spending money, hasn't he?
Spending money. He's spent $3 billion. But as Prime Minister, he's going to have $1.4 trillion and a huge power, which he hasn't had before. He's had 3 cabinet posts. Didn't even touch the sides, let's be honest. Didn't make a mark on anything. I'm sorry, we as a country deserve better, and we deserve to have a general election. We should decide, let the people choose.
Of course, this is the man, Ben, who lost twice, I think it was, against Jeremy Corbyn. I think he stood against Ed Miliband as well.
He stood in 2010.
Clearly not wanted by the Labour Party at the time. And doesn't it say something about this current Labour government or the party, that out of 400 odd MPs, they can't pick a leader, they've got to go up to Manchester and bring the King of the North down?
Well, he stood for Labour leadership in 2010, and like a young Lee Anderson, all he could talk about was his non-Westminster credentials. He was
like what?
Like a young Lee Anderson.
Ooh. He's never had a proper job. I've had a proper job. I've had the blisters on my hands. I've been underground. I've used a shaft and a shovel. What's he done?
You don't hear shaft often enough on a Friday night.
I tell you what, he hasn't done. He didn't look after those poor victims.
Well, I think Andy Burnham did multiple reports, and at one point the head of the Manchester Police was suspended. So clearly he cared about that. But it should absolutely be a priority for whoever becomes the Prime Minister.
I spoke to Maggie Oliver just before I came here, and she said, you know what, she knows Andy very, very well, maybe a great speaker, you know, and he's far better than communicator, far better than Keir Starmer, but so would one of the wooden tops. But he didn't help those girls in the end, and he did let them down. And I'm sorry, I don't want anyone that can't help these victims be Prime Minister.
Benjamin is struggling. Come on, Benjamin, try and defend this.
This just interrupted. But what I would say is that he served as Health Secretary, which is one of the most difficult jobs in government. Well, you say he was useless. The British public had the highest satisfaction rates in the NHS in its history by 2010. So that's a pretty good record. When he was in government under Tony Blair and Gordon Brown, he was very much in the centre. He was economically pragmatic. These are the things that we need in government. And you know what? I think it is really revealing to hear people like Lizzie, who, you know, she might live in a...
like Lizzie?
She might live in a bubble.
Outrageous.
You know, Lizzie exists at the side of football pitches and in TV
No, I do
studios.
not, actually.
But I tell you what,
I've been very involved in politics for longer than you had.
Andy Burnham,
on.
I'm not denying you're much older, but Andy Burnham...
Another dig.
Another dig. Ageist as well as...
Sexist and ageist. Come on, Benjamin, carry on. Let's get the full deck.
Andy Burnham has existed in the real world because running Greater Manchester means that he's had to deal with the kind of practical things that most of us care about. The buses, for example, he's massively improved. Now, Westminster types might turn their nose up at that.
I don't think he wasted about 100 million on the clean air zone as well, and then backtracked on that, Benjamin.
And putting into very lavish properties in Manchester.
I think that's it.
Can I just say, we're going to be having 7 prime ministers in the last 10 years. They've all been mediocre, from Liz Truss to Rishi, and Keir Starmer was possibly the worst ever prime minister we've ever had. This country deserves someone that is, I mean, good. We've had absolutely mediocres that haven't lasted. A prime minister every year. That's going to happen the same, because I'm sorry, he's not up to this job. He's not got a business brain. This whole cabinet haven't had a business brain between them, Ben. They are a joke. I mean, call a general election and call it now.
Let Benjamin have his say, because this is going to be funny.
Well, I was going to say, Lee, do you think there should be a general election?
Yes, 100%.
So why, when Boris Johnson came in, did you say there shouldn't be? Or when Liz Truss came in, did you say there shouldn't be? Or when Rishi Sunak came in, there shouldn't be? Well, how are we meant to take it seriously?
When Boris came in, I wasn't in Parliament. When Liz Truss came in, at least she was elected on a Tory manifesto at the general election.
She literally ripped up the Tory manifesto. That was her whole selling point.
She was an MP at the time of the general election.
And she said that she would change it, and you said,
Andy
good, don't go to the
Andy
people.
Burnham has only been an MP for a week. Last Friday he got elected. A week.
A week, and let's not forget, it was Andy Burnham that was calling for a general election with Rishi. He was calling for that, and I've got his tweet right on my phone.
Not just Andy Burnham, Ben. Andy Burnham, Angela Rayner, a whole raft of them were calling for a general election.
But isn't it weird that when a Prime Minister like Liz Truss came in, explicitly tearing up the Tory manifesto, you said that's not a problem, but now it's pure political opportunism. I think people are sick of that kind of politics.
I'll tell you what they're sick of. They're sick of comments like that, Benjamin.
They're sick of that. And I'm sorry, you might want to treat him like the Messiah, Ben. You know, he got this welcome like he'd won the World Cup. It was like unbelievable. I thought Kim Kardashian was in town. But he has no mandate. And we, the people, didn't vote for him. OK, and he doesn't know his own policies. He doesn't even know his own team. I'm afraid.
And I can see you're deeply upset there, Liz. You know, I do apologise for the sat at the side of a football pitch comments and the ages comments.
And I love football.
Yeah, we all love football.
To be proud of, and England going to win this World Cup.
Well, we might do this time, but Benjamin, surely, even you with your left-wing views, your nonsensical ideology, you've got to admit that he has no mandate, he has no manifesto. He should call a general election and stand on that ticket.
I mean, ultimately, all of this comes down to whether it's your rampant hypocrisy or whether it's the way in which Andy Burnham will become Prime Minister.
Oh, now I'm rampant.
It is our...
you rampant, Lizzie?
I'm very rampant today.
Oh, dear me.
It's the nature of our Parliament and our Constitution that this is how it works. And ultimately, it is always for MPs to decide whether you like it or not. I think the reason there's so much support in the country for Andy Burnham... We saw that in his landslide in Makerfield.
That was to get Starmer out.
People are glad to see an ordinary person, a relatable person. In fact, I think you should be careful what you wish for, Lee, because a recent poll found that on almost every single measure, including does he understand us, does he understand working people, Andy Burnham beats Nigel Farage.
Yeah, who would come on, Lizzie?
We want to know what Andy Burnham thinks. I've made a list. Taxation, borrowing, immigration, defence, energy, net zero, housing. The list goes on. You know, foreign policy, social care. Most of all, defence, because the first order of any government is to look after its own people. Keir Starmer didn't that. Couldn't get the defence spending plan sorted. It's still sitting on his desk gathering dust. What does Andy Burnham stand for?
What does he stand for, Ben? It's a good question.
Well, one of the things that he's talked about is social care and the fact that we fail our elderly when they get serious conditions. And he tried to fix that back in 2010. Obviously, Labour lost the election. Now, if only we'd had Andy Burnham in power for the last 16 years, you might not have people having to sell their homes at the last minute in order to fund their social care. So those are the kind of ideas that I think were ahead of his time.
Ahead of his time.
Ahead of his time. Oh, please. Look, he's got a black T-shirt on, different glasses. It's the same Keir Starmer, but worse because there is no plan and no experience. Sorry, we don't want him. We need a general election. Let the people choose. Give him some questions. We need to ask what he stands for, what he believes in. That's what we need as a country.
Final word, Benjamin.
I just want to clarify that Andy Burnham does not wear mascara. Those are his real eyebrows.
Yes, you've clarified. There you go. Benjamin Butterworth clarified that Andy Burnham does not wear mascara. Benjamin Butterworth has not denied that he doesn't wear black mascara. But coming up next, we've got Gareth Penn from the Hair Council on Real World, Real People. He's going to talk about these barbershops that's popping up everywhere around the country.
I've been in Westminster for a long time, but I know that though power may be here, its effect on people's lives is across the whole of the country. We may be where rules are made, but it's where they're implemented that matters. Join me, Jacob Rees-Mogg, for forthright and frank discussion on where Britain has come from, where it's going, and where it will end up. That's State of the Nation, Monday to Thursday, 8 to 9 o'clock. Vox Populi, Vox Dei.
Welcome to Free Speech Nation with me, Josh Howard. This is the show where each week we see what's happening in the world of culture, current affairs and politics.
First we'll say, welcome to the UK.
And we're not afraid to use our free speech so that you can use yours.
It's not controversial in the slightest to anyone who hasn't lost their mind.
Free Speech Nation, Sunday nights at 7 p.m. Only on GB News, the People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
You want to know what's really going on in the corridors of power?
Labour don't know what to do with you half the time, and that makes you quite lethal in the chamber.
Get behind the headlines with Chopper's Political Podcast. Join me, Christopher Hope, as I sit down with the great and the good of British politics.
We'll see where this ruling takes us.
These are the stories shaping our nation. Chopper's Political Podcast, available now on all platforms. Listen in and stay ahead.
Welcome back. It's time for Real World, Real People. I've got Gareth Penn with me today from the Hairdressing Council. Is that right, Gareth?
Absolutely.
We're going to talk about hairdressing, barberers, the high streets and stuff like that. So obviously, you know, a big topic of conversation these days, Gareth, is on the high street, we're seeing more and more. Every time a property becomes empty, we know exactly what's going to be there in a few weeks' time. It's going to be one of these Turkish barbers. Some of them are relatively busy, I want to admit, but others, you never see a soul in there. What is going on?
Okay, so the root cause of this problem is criminality. These aren't necessarily Turks. I think we label them as Turkish barbers. Actually, these are illegal barbershops run by criminal gangs. And they're utilising a gap in the law. And that gap is that anybody can trade as a hairdresser or barber in the UK with no licence and no regulations. They've identified this. They know that they can open a cash-only business and use that business on our high street to launder money.
Yeah. And another kick in the old proverbials is that some of these workers in these vape shops and barber shops can come on a skilled works visa into this country.
Absolutely. Because we don't have a register of who's working in hairdressing, we don't know who is working in these shops. What we've seen is when the police, the Home Office raid an illegal barber's or sweet shop, they take away the workers that are there that day. Yeah. By the following morning, 9 a.m, there's a new set of workers dropped in from another town and they're up and trading again.
Yeah. But you see, some of these barber shops, I mean, we have to be honest. There's some that are genuine because some of these people, I know some of these barbers that's been in the country 20, 25 years, and they've opened their shops in certain towns, had a good business, a good customer base, then all of a sudden, they've been hijacked really all around them, all these other shops. So they're getting told with the same brush now, which is a little bit unfair.
It's completely unfair. And we've seen a real spike in registrations from legitimate barbers who might be considered at first glance of the same group as your illegal barbershops. We've seen a real spike in those registering to become state registered, to show their certificate so they can have a point of difference with those illegal shops. They've got no training, no customer service, and really the nub of it, Lee, is that there's a consumer safety risk here because you see a spike in things like ringworm because they don't understand about basic hygiene. But wider than that, when they're charging £8 for a dry haircut, what it's doing is affecting the legitimate barbershop's ability to compete, because there are some consumers for where price is all important. And we completely understand that. And they have to be able to get a service that is safe. However, legitimate barbershops who have to pay employers' national insurance, which of course has gone up. They have to pay business rates, which of course for most has gone up. They're having to pay rent, insurance, and all
proper wage.
And a proper wage, which has gone up. Because whenever the national minimum wage increases, and government take credit for that, and that's all government, it's the employer that has to pay that.
If people are watching this right now and they decide they want to go for a trim tomorrow, how do they spot the difference between a legitimate barbershop and an illegal one?
Okay, so first off, we would say look for a certificate of state registration for the workers in that shop. There are also a few red flags that you could use, which maybe on their own might be okay, but when you combine them, actually start to indicate a problem. So cash only, absolutely fine. But if it's cash only, there's no one ever in the shop. You have the very standard look, and I think everybody watching would know what that is. You could literally take one shop, drop it into another town, and it would fit. When you start to see those indicators, ask yourself a question: is it too good to be true? Should I be looking somewhere else for someone who is trained and who does actually care about my safety?
So what should government do about this?
I think there's a few things government should do. Firstly, we want them to mandate the Hairdressers Registration Act. So it is obligatory to be registered, to show that you've got qualifications and training before you can trade as a hairdresser. It's amazing that to be a farrier, to work on horses' hooves, you have to be registered, but not for a human. And it's absolutely right that farriers have to be registered, but why is it that humans have a lower down the pecking order than horses?
I want to ask you a question. Is it true that a barbershop can still pull teeth out for people?
No.
Is that not true? I read this a while back because I thought, well, if that's the case, with how many barbershops are opening around the country, we shouldn't have a shortage of dentists, really, should we?
No, the General Dentistry Council would absolutely jump on you rightly, and you wouldn't be insured. And so there's, we want that act to be mandated. We also want government to look at the other contributing factors that are making high street barbers and also high street hairdressing salons struggle to compete.
Okay, so you say there's a lot of criminality. I agree with that, get that. What nationality are these people, predominantly?
So difficult to know. I think that's why we don't like the Turkish barber label. Talking to the police and Home Office, we're looking at sort of Western Balkans, Albania, those sorts of areas. And there is, direct evidence of a link to prostitution, drugs, people smuggling, the money laundering that goes with all of this. And so, you close down those shops, actually you shut down that route of criminality.
But the thing is, Gareth, I'm playing devil's advocate here, so don't take this as gospel. If they close all these shops, them shops are closed and our high streets are empty. Because I look on my high streets and in my shopping precincts, every single week there's a shop closing down, and it's an awful thing to look at. And some people will say to me, well, at least they're filling the shops up and they're making the high street look better. And I think, well, have you got a point?
I would really disagree with anybody who made that point, because you don't want to welcome criminals onto the high street. I think what we need to do to get growth on the high street is to allow businesses to grow.
That's what I was looking for.
By reducing. So for hairdressing and barbers, we want to see.
So I guess what we're saying is, and I'm glad you gave me that answer, is we've made it so difficult for entrepreneurs and small businesses to open the shops up on the high street and make a decent living like they used to, that these criminals are taking advantage of that because they don't have to make a profit as such to run a legitimate business. All they have to do is launder the money through the business.
I think that's exactly right, Lee. They don't have to cover any of the legitimate costs. Often they don't have those costs at all. They don't maybe have insurance even. And so, absolutely, we need to see those changes come in.
Well, it's a wonderful conversation, a wonderful discussion, and I guess, you know, I mean, I do travel around the country a lot, and every single high street is the same. It's vape shops, it's Turkish barbers, although they're not Turkish a lot of the time, and these new sweet shops that are cropping up. But let's get you back on the show in about 6 months' time, and we'll see if we've made any progress. I will definitely be raising this in Parliament, because I think it is something that needs tackling. But thanks for that, Gav. Thanks for coming on.
Thanks very much.
Great. Coming up next, we've got Right versus Left with Lizzie and Benjamin Butterworth, and it's going to be a feisty one.
Home Secretary Shabana Mahmood said high streets across the country have been hijacked by criminal gangs operating in plain sight, running vape stores, dodgy barbers and nail salons to launder their dirty money. I've launched a nationwide crackdown to raid and close thousands of illegal businesses and arrest bosses and seize their dirty cash. But I'll go further, introducing new laws to close these shops for good and put criminals behind bars.
Hello again. Very good evening to you. I'm back with your GB News weather update coming to you from the Met Office. We still have an extreme heat warning out, an amber one across some eastern parts of England through Saturday. Whilst there is fresher air coming in, some of that residual heat is trapped across some eastern parts, so still uncomfortably hot and humid here. Further north and west, a big talking point, the thunderstorms. A lot of the ones over northern England, Northern Ireland, they're clearing through at the moment, but across parts of Scotland, the thundery risk continues into the early hours of tomorrow morning, and also we will then see a few showers developing in parts of the southeast. A lot of dry weather in between across the bulk of England and Wales. Still warm and humid towards eastern parts, but further north and west a bit fresher, a bit more comfortable than some recent nights perhaps. Then into tomorrow morning, well, a cloudy start across much of Scotland. A bit of sunshine perhaps towards the northeast, but yes, generally quite grey. There will be some rain around, but it's not looking as heavy or as thundery as what we're seeing at the moment and overnight. Also across Northern Ireland, a bit of cloud, a bit of rain towards the west in particular, and down the western side of England and also Wales. Bit of cloud here, some rain pushing through at times, but it's not a total washout by any means. Across more central eastern parts of England, it's a brighter, sunnier start to the day, and really through the day itself, we have a northwest-southeast split, staying quite cloudy, outbreaks of rain, a fresher breeze towards the northwest, drier and sunnier towards the southeast, but some showers pushing into some southeastern parts later. These could turn heavy and thundery. Still hot in the east, but not as hot as it has been, and temperatures towards the north and west, well, mid-20s really for many here. Into Sunday, and we have some cloudy wet weather sweeping its way eastwards. It's not particularly heavy rain or all that persistent, but most of us will see some outbreaks of rain, but there should be some brighter, sunnier weather around as well, and temperatures, well, they're going to be so much more comfortable for many of us than they have been recently, dropping to much closer to average for the time of year. Bye-bye.
Do you trust what you're being told? Good, because neither do I.
Those are just facts.
I'm Alex Armstrong, and on my show, we'll expose the spin.
Well, I want to answer that because you didn't let me last time, because you always speak over me.
The broken promises.
To deny that is denying the truth.
And the hypocrisy.
Stop. You think we can allow?
Politics, policy, Parliament. Nothing is off limits. No sugarcoating, no fear of offence, just the truth laid bare. Tune in every Saturday and Sunday at 9 p.m. for Alex Armstrong Tonight, only on GB News, Britain's news channel.
At GB News, we love to hear from you, our loyal community. So drop us a line at gbnews.com/yoursay. There you can talk to each other and also to the presenters live on air. gbnews.com/yoursay, because GB News is your channel, Britain's news channel.
Welcome back. It's time for Right versus Left with Lizzie. Lizzie, you used to hang around football pitches.
That's right.
Is that right?
I used to hang around a football pitch. Doesn't matter what team, I'd just be there.
And the very bitter Benjamin Butterworth is Right versus Left. And the yes or no quiz is coming up later.
Yeah.
So, guys, we saw Nigel this week make a statement about white privilege. It's something I've banged on about for the last 6 years since I've been in Parliament. We keep telling young white working class lads in schools that white privilege exists. And I always argue, Lizzie, that white working class lads are pretty useful when it comes to fighting wars. They've been pretty useful in the past when we're sent them down coal mines. They do all the rough, horrible, dirty, manky, scruffy jobs. But when it comes to normal, peaceful times, they are left behind. In fact, they are the most left behind group in the country.
Well, they are, because white working class boys are underperforming in schools. They're the lowest performance, and it's very, very sad. And I'm afraid we're trying to rewrite history at school as well. You know, it's all about how bad we were with slavery, not about how proud we should be of this country. And it's very, very worrying. You know, they're not being treated fairly or in any way.
Why do we keep indoctrinating children in school, Ben, to say there's white privilege and that we're nasty and we're horrible and we've been horrible in the past? Why don't we celebrate the greatness of this country?
Well, look, I support white working class lads doing well. That's why I'm glad we made one Prime Minister in Keir Starmer.
Why is he working? Come on,
I mean,
Ben. What have you been drinking?
His father owns the tool company, by the way. He owns the tool company.
Keir Starmer's a fantastic
Not
Prime Minister.
working class.
He's absolutely working class. But there is
He's got millions, by the way.
Well, this is the point I was going to make, which is one problem we have in this country is that we say we like social mobility, but actually when working class people do well, they get into Oxbridge, they become successful in business, for example, we then say, well, you're not working class, you can't talk about it. We hate social mobility.
Well, let's talk about white privilege.
Because we think people should stay in their lane. Now, on white privilege does not mean that every white person has a superior start in life. What it means is there are advantages that you get from your ethnicity that a black person or an Asian person doesn't get. So, for example, if you're applying for a job and you have a name that doesn't sound very British or very European, then we know that you're far more likely to have that CV rejected, not based on its contents, but based on a perception. We know that in the court system, sometimes black kids get worse punishments than white people do. They're more likely to be stopped and searched. These are things that...
Is that white privilege?
Yeah, absolutely.
But we've seen
because it wouldn't happen to any of the three of us.
Please, you... Honestly, Benjamin, look at what diversity has actually done to this country. I think it's been really detrimental. And look, I'll just give an example to the Henry Novick case, where, you know, that poor lad was dying on the floor, bleeding, and yet the police didn't believe him.
Well, I think that's it's unfair to talk about the Sikh community as though they're negative on this country.
You're not talking about the Sikh community.
Well, you are because you said it was diversity and multiculturalism that had failed. The Sikhs in this country are the most integrated of any group.
The point is, do you think? Let's talk about DEI. Has it gone too far? We see we have Pride Month now. We have Black History Month now. Why can't we just scrap all that? And whoa, let me finish. And have a British and Commonwealth month. So we can celebrate everything great about this brilliant country and all the Commonwealth and involve all the cultures from around the Commonwealth. Why can't we do that, Ben?
Well, I think I'm the DEI hire for this show, so I'm very grateful.
Unfortunately.
You are, unfortunately. In fancy dress.
One of the things about Britain is that we are confident and comfortable in ourselves when we're at our best, and we can celebrate all of our diversity. You know, bear in mind that more than 50 countries are in the Commonwealth. That is a world of cultures and ethnicities, and we should be proud of that. That is what makes Britain great.
And we've got the World Cup, where our country is doing well, hopefully going to win it, and yet we can't fly the flag. To me, that is outrageous.
These are nothing but straw men. Straw people should be gender neutral.
I've heard
the fact is that there is no objection.
Do you believe in gingerbread men?
Gingerbread people.
Gingerbread people.
There is
You've heard it
no...
from Benjamin Butterworth.
You know,
oh dear.
I was once called the wokest man in Britain, and I said, please, that's very offensive. Do not assume my gender. You know, there is no problem with putting up England flags or the Union flag. I have a Union flag in my bedroom, okay? I love this country. What I hate is people trying to say that you have to be white and you have to be Christian, you have to have certain politics to be British. That is white privilege.
Who has said that?
Who said that?
That is exactly what outfits like Reform put.
What?
They
Absolute
ethnic minorities
that
and
is
other
incorrect.
outlets.
That is absolutely incorrect.
Outrageous.
And
Please retract that now, Benjamin Butterworth.
Why are we not allowed to be be proud that we do fly a flag. You know, we get called far right. No other country has that. You go to Greece, they've got flags. They can fly their flag, but oh no, you can't fly the St George's flag, the Union Jack. You get labelled as far right. It's a disgrace. We should be proud of this country for all it's achieved. Teach this in school. Stop rewriting history. And I certainly am going to be flying my flag.
Are you proud of this country, Benjamin?
Yeah, absolutely.
Good man.
But what I'm not proud of is people like Nigel Farage who want to say that you have to have a particular vision of Britain in order to love it. Someone who is gay and liberal, or someone who's from a black family or a Jewish family, they are all a part of Britain. And I fear that we're going down a route where you're told that you have to be a particular identity.
Have you
to be a
seen the
patriot.
recent statistics that gay and bisexual men are more likely to vote Reform than any other party?
Well, I'm aware of the poll, but I
He doesn't like it.
You don't like the result?
You don't like the
No,
facts.
not at all. And there's no evidence of that in any election. They overwhelmingly vote Labour still. OK? And the fact is that I just worry that you are attacking the diversity of this country, which is what's made it.
That's rubbish, by the way.
That is rubbish.
Absolute rubbish. Lizzie, come back.
No, you are being
Please pipe
rubbish.
down,
And
Benjamin.
I've got to say, what you said about Nigel is totally wrong. What Nigel is saying, for us to all be treated equally and fairly, and that's not happening in our education system. He doesn't want the two-tier policing with the incident that tragically happened with Henry Novak. That's what he's saying. And if you think that's wrong, there's something wrong with you.
But Henry Novak didn't die due to racism. He died due to an appalling murderer.
Yeah, but the police did not believe them. They took 8 minutes even to find that he'd been stabbed. That is the truth of the fact.
Shocking.
And it is shocking.
He died with handcuffs on.
Yeah, he died in an appalling way, and the police officers should be held accountable for that. But I think it's wrong to then go and say, for example, as some people have, that there isn't racism against ethnic minorities. There are a number of problems in this country. Some are with white working class lads, others are with black people.
I don't think we're ever going to agree on this. Obviously, you've got the sensible side of the debate, which is Lizzie and myself, and then you've got, obviously, the agitator. But we're going to move on to the left, the yes or no quiz now. I think, Benjamin, did you win this last time, Benjamin?
Oh, did you?
So, Lizzie,
come on.
Up your game. It's a yes or no. Benjamin, should there be a general election?
No.
Lizzie?
Yes.
Good answer. Lizzie, does white privilege exist?
No.
Benjamin?
No. Yes. I'm trying to... I confused the question.
No, Annie, yes. Sorry. Lizzie, you just got to keep calm now.
No,
keep
I'm
calm
excited.
under pressure.
I'm excited.
Just remember, just put your fingers in your ears and answer yes or no. Should net zero targets be scrapped?
Yes.
Benjamin?
No.
There was a grunt as well there. There was a grunt, wasn't there? There was a grunt and a no.
Else.
So I can't give him that. It's looking good. Benjamin, should 16-year-olds be allowed to vote?
Yes.
Oh, Lizzie.
No.
Lizzie, you just need to get this one right, and it's like penalty shootout, isn't it?
It is.
Will the social media ban for children work?
Yes.
Benjamin?
Yes.
Agreement on that one. I disagree with you on that one, actually. But Lizzie, you'll be pleased to know that you've won 5-3.
Thank you
left
very
in the
much.
corner has been
Thank you,
defeated.
Benjamin. We're still friends?
We're still friends.
Not just our left in the corner this week, our late left in the corner this week, and late again, and
Very
some
late.
pathetic excuses. Talking about pathetic excuses, Ben, why did you lose a quiz this week?
Because it's the heat wave.
It's the heat wave, is it?
It's gone to my head. This is why we need to tackle climate change, so that the heat wave doesn't get to me.
Oh, God.
Well, we actually had there was a debate this week in Parliament on climate change, and I did ask one of the Labour MPs, what difference would it make to the Earth's temperature if we became net zero straight away? And again, I've asked this question countless times, and they cannot answer the question. And do you know why? Because it would make no difference whatsoever, Lizzie.
I know, it won't make any difference. And Ed Miliband is obsessed with it, costing us billions and billions. And you know what? He could be our next Chancellor.
Ooh. That's a scary thought.
It's scary.
I don't think he'll be Chancellor, to be honest, but earlier this week we had the hottest June day on record. In 2022, we had the hottest day on record.
Yeah.
This should alarm all of us.
Well, you weren't born in 1976, but it was, even
there.
hotter.
It was not.
Then it was. It was very, very hot summer. It was continuously hot, and we coped. We didn't moan. We weren't late.
Watch your hands. Keep your hands to yourself.
But we weren't late for work. We did get up and still go to work. Schools weren't closed. We continued without the whinging and moaning that you like to do, Benjamin.
And it was a prolonged period of.
It was a prolonged.
of heat.
1976 was not hotter than this month or previous years that we had recently.
Anyway, guys, we're going to calm like that. Hopefully, get you back on the show in the next few months or so.
Stuff, wasn't it?
Hot stuff from the lady who hangs around football pitches and our late left in the corner. Coming up next, we've got Last Orders with British adventurer James Ketchell.
A Hampshire police spokesperson said the Independent Office for Police Conduct is continuing its investigation into our response on the night in question, following our self-referral the next day. While that progresses, we ask that people avoid harmful speculation online. While Hampshire police have apologised, they deny all allegations of two-tier policing. The government has previously said the British people would benefit from net zero through lower bills, good jobs, warmer homes and cleaner air.
Can't wait to get in that sea.
Lovely and warm.
Just like the feeling of having great travel insurance.
All Clear Travel Insurance sponsors GB News Travel Destinations Forecast.
Looking ahead to the weekend, and the historic heat across some parts of Europe will continue. Over more southern areas, it's not as exceptionally hot here, but nonetheless, it will feel pretty hot with all the sunshine around. Worth bearing in mind, we have high humidity as well, and with the hot and sunny weather, that will allow for a few showers to develop, and if they do, they could turn heavy and also thundery. But generally, the theme is for lots of dry, sunny weather to come as we go through into next week.
All Clear Travel Insurance sponsors GB News Travel Destinations Forecast.
Sunday with Michael Portillo from 11 only on GB News.
You've been to see Glengarry Glen Ross.
I have. So the movie was 92 and the play was 84, 85, something like David Mamet. It's all about men, or it's about men that are posturing being men. It's this idea of sort of toxic strutting, peacocking. However, the outrage, this most male of plays, has been cast with all women. Horrific. Taking away men's jobs right in front of us, Michael. It's on at the Old Vic, and we've got a cast of the ladies having a little word about it.
I think it might explode the play and open it up in really amazing ways, but we just don't know, and that is thrilling.
On first glance, you look at Glengarry and you think male, masculine world, male toxicity, but then if you strip that away and look at it from another lens, you say, no, this is about humans.
GB News, the People's Channel. Sunday with Michael Portillo from 11 only on GB News.
Joining me now is Chef Julie Walsh, who's the head of patisserie at Le Cordon Bleu. Thank you. How lovely to see you. You look marvellous in your chef's hat and your chef's jacket. Tell me about Le Cordon Bleu.
Le Cordon Bleu has been in operation for over 130 years. We had our 130-year anniversary last year. I'm from the campus in London, in Holborn, and we have a very wide-ranging curriculum with our students. I teach patisserie, so for me, I teach students to learn about things such as bakery, cakes, entremets, such as this one here, and showpieces. We do chocolate and sugar sculptures as well.
GB News, the People's Channel. This is GB News, Britain's news channel.
3 lines on my shirt, never stop me dreaming.
Could this be England's biggest superfan? Benny Elcock has covered his York home in St George's flags in support of England ahead of the World Cup. 3 Lions memorabilia are draped across his windows, garden gates and flower pots. Even the family's Yorkshire Terrier Reggie has his own outfit.
We've done it for years. And I'll stick my Everton one up, because I'm a massive Everton fan. People just think I'm mad. Say, well, you've gone a bit mad, you've gone a bit overboard. I said, I don't care. I love it.
Football mad Benny can't wait for England's first match.
GB News, the People's Channel.
Well, that sounds a little bit like Last Orders at the Bar, and I've got British adventurer James Ketchell here, and I've been looking at your CV, James. I've got it here. I want to pick it up. You've sailed around the world, been around the world in a gyrocopter. You've cycled around the world. You've climbed Mount Everest, and you're the first person to row across the Atlantic Ocean, and as part of an ultimate triathlon. And look, there's too many things on here to actually mention. It sounds a little bit like you're crazy. Are you mad?
I think I probably am mad. I never really knew what I wanted to do when I was young. When I was young, I had no real confidence. I never thought in a million years I'd do all this kind of stuff. Left school, got fired from jobs, left, right, and centre.
Fired from jobs?
Yeah. I was very, very lazy. I had no real drive or ambition. It took me a while to find my feet, as it were.
So how did you find your feet? What happened?
I had a pretty serious motorcycle accident, actually. I used to race bikes. And it was just one of those things. I had many accidents, but this one particular time I fell in a way that broke a lot of bones. And I was lying in hospital with the prognosis that I may not be able to walk again. And it was the best thing that ever happened to me. It gave me a bit of a kick up the backside. And then one thing led on to another, and before you know it, you're off doing different things.
So what was your first big challenge? The first thing and when you got better, what did you do?
Ever since I was young, I've always had a goal to try and row a boat across the Atlantic Ocean, but I never really had the guts to do it. So when I was in hospital, I made the decision that I was going to get better and row across the Atlantic. You usually do it as a two-man team, but for some reason, no one would do it with me.
Had you been in boats before?
I'd never been in a boat before.
Dear.
I think I used to watch too much Tintin when I was young, and I just had this fascination with this whole idea of rowing across the Atlantic. I didn't come from a boating background at all. I think it was just like the adventure that I craved, and just to do something a little bit different.
So how much training was involved to row across the Atlantic?
Well, it's quite difficult to sort of go out and do a demo run of rowing across the Atlantic. So the most important thing is working on the boat, understanding the boat. If I'm honest with you, for me, my experience, pulling the oars was probably the easiest part. Just believing that you can do it was for me the hardest part. When I got out there, I thought, actually, I'm tired, I'm hungry, but you know what? This isn't that bad. And all those years I dreamt about doing it when I was young, I probably would have been able to do it. So yeah.
How long to cross the Atlantic?
It usually takes about 70 or 80 days for a solo rower, but this was just my luck. It ended up taking 110 days, 4 hours and 4 minutes. Not that I was counting right.
Took a while. Crazy, a bit stir crazy?
Yeah, look, I was already crazy anyway, so it didn't really matter too much. But it was something I wanted to do, and I achieved that. But here's the thing, that's all I ever wanted to do. And off the back of that, all these different doors of opportunity just started to open up. And
did people start knocking on your door?
A little bit, and then one thing led on to another, and that's how I've ended up doing these things.
So you've been around the world, what, 3 times?
Been around the world 3 times now, yeah.
How? How do you do that?
So I cycled around the world in 2013. That was incredible. I met a lot of amazing people. I found out that human beings are ultimately pretty good. Most people are kind, caring, supportive. I'll be playing forward favours for the rest of my life, I really will. And I've always had a goal to learn how to fly, and I had an interest in helicopters. And I thought that only people that were very intelligent, had lots of money, could learn how to fly. I fell short on both of those. But I decided I was going to give it a go. So I learned how to fly gyroplanes, or gyrocopters. The technical term is a gyroplane. And
was that easy?
Do you know what? I was very fortunate. That came to me quite easily. I think where I used to race bikes in the past, I had relatively good coordination and balance, and I was lucky. I just picked it up quick. And again, I thought it was going to be really difficult. It actually wasn't that hard, if I'm honest. And then I realized, despite a few attempts, no one had flown one of these around the world. So I started looking into it. People said I was crazy. But I thought, you know what, I'm going to try and think about how and what I need to do to be able to do it, as opposed to thinking why I can't do it. And sure enough, I just took it day by day. I broke this whole challenge down. I treated people in a way I'd like to be treated when I met them. I took ownership of everything.
So how did you plan your route for a journey like that? Or you just
actually,
follow
no,
the compass?
What you can't do is just take off and see where you end up. You do have to make a plan. And I had a plan to fly through Europe and actually through Asia, going via Pakistan into India and onwards. But Pakistan shut their airspace about 2 months before I was due to leave. So I ended up flying the whole way across Russia. And a lot of people said, don't go there. But the people that I met, the normal people that I met, were so kind. It was fantastic.
Yeah. And then, so you gyrocopter, you've cycled.
So I got around the world on the gyrocopter.
And sailed around the world as well?
Yeah, 2 weeks ago I returned from sailing around the world. That was by far the hardest thing I've ever managed to complete. You can't press pause when you're out there. When you're cycling around the world and when you're flying around the world, if you don't want to go out that day, you don't have to.
Any scary moments?
Yeah, I mean, the autopilot failed in the middle of the Pacific, the South Pacific. Wow. So I lost the ability to steer the boat, and that can put the boat into a very difficult position. So yeah, I mean, it crash jibed, which means it went, the back of the boat went through the wind. The boat was like 90 degrees on its side.
Okay, James, I've got another challenge for you. Another challenge. This is probably the toughest challenge of your life. That's to pull a pint in 30 seconds on that pump there.
All right.
And whilst you're pulling it,
no pressure, eh?
No pressure at all. So go for it.
All right.
And whilst you're pulling it, I want you to think that you are having some sort of do tonight in your house, in your home, and you've got to invite 3 guests, past or present, to have a few pints with you, to sit round the table, have a few snacks, have a few beers, and just chat about life in general. Who would the 3 people be? And you can plonk that on the bar, by the way, because right on the bar, let the camera see it.
I've totally messed that up.
It's awful, it's dreadful.
I could go around the world 3 times, but
3
I can't
times,
pull a pint.
Can't pull a pint. Well, 3 guests.
3 guests. I'd probably invite Keanu Reeves. I like what he's about. Seems like a very kind guy. I'd be interested in having a chat with possibly Winston Churchill. Very pretty amazing guy. I'm sure everyone will agree. And I think I would go with an explorer called Captain James Cook, who discovered Australia. Yeah. And I would. I'd pick their brains. I think they'd be very.
What would you say to Captain Cook?
I would ask him how on earth did he achieve what he achieved with no navigational aids, no nothing. Sailing around the world is quite easy.
I think his ship's is it in Whitby?
Yeah,
is it in Whitby? I think one of his boats.
I'm not too sure, but I'd probably be interested in having a dinner with those guys.
And what would you say to Sir Winston Churchill?
I'd say very well done. Yeah, clearly an amazing man.
A visionary.
Yeah. And he believed and he had the confidence. So, yeah, I'd have a chat with him.
And Keanu Reeves, that's a strange one.
I like Keanu Reeves because he's a very understated, kind person.
Yeah.
He has everything, but he just keeps it quiet. He helps a lot of people.
Yeah.
He's also a very keen motorcyclist, so we have that in common. I just like what he's about. He's a celebrity, but he doesn't go around showing it, he's just a normal guy, and I like that.
So what's next, James? What's the next big challenge, apart from getting married, a little Dicky Bird tells me?
Yes, that's going to be a challenge, isn't it? If I disappear for 11 months again, I doubt I'll have
So what sort of honeymoon would an adventurer have?
So you know what?
6 months away somewhere?
It's going to be a normal one. I think it's going to be a normal one. Involve a little bit of beach.
A week in Blackpool.
Relaxing. Yeah, a week in Blackpool, exactly.
That'd be an adventure.
That would be, wouldn't it?
Yeah. Well, look, mate, I mean, it's been a pleasure having you on. The pint is awful. I'll give you 5 out of 10.
Yeah, it's not very good, is it?
But 10 out of 10 for what you're doing.
Oh, I appreciate that.
I wish you good luck with your marriage and your next escapade. When you've been on your next escapade, your next big journey, please come back and tell us all about it.
I will do.
What a guest. What a true British adventurer, James Ketchell. Well done, mate. Thank you. All the best. That's last orders. Thanks for joining me on Lee Anderson's Real World. Coming up next, we've got...
Well, killers, rapists, sex offenders are now about to be released early. We're going to be talking to a victim of Britain's crime wave shortly, and populist anti-establishment parties are on the run in Europe, taking over political systems. We're going to be talking to a member of the European Parliament exclusively tonight who just led a major revolt against the blob in Brussels and Strasbourg, and it's on that issue of immigration. I'll see you in 2 moments.
Expect warm spells with the odd rude interruption. Box Boiler sponsors the weather on GB News.
Hello again. Very good evening to you. I'm back with your GB News weather update coming to you from the Met Office. We still have an extreme heat warning out, an amber one across some eastern parts of England through Saturday. Whilst there is fresher air coming in, some of that residual heat is trapped across some eastern parts, so still uncomfortably hot and humid here. Further north and west, a big talking point, the thunderstorms. A lot of the ones over northern England, Northern Ireland, they're clearing through at the moment, but across parts of Scotland, the thundery risk continues into the early hours of tomorrow morning, and also we will then see a few showers developing in parts of the southeast. A lot of dry weather in between across the bulk of England and Wales. Still warm and humid towards eastern parts, but further north and west a bit fresher, a bit more comfortable than some recent nights perhaps. Then into tomorrow morning, well, a cloudy start across much of Scotland. A bit of sunshine perhaps towards the northeast, but yes, generally quite grey. There will be some rain around, but it's not looking as heavy or as thundery as what we're seeing at the moment and overnight. Also across Northern Ireland, bit of cloud, bit of rain towards the west in particular, and down the western side of England and also Wales. Bit of cloud here, some rain pushing through at times, but it's not a total washout by any means. Across more central eastern parts of England, it's a brighter, sunnier start to the day, and really through the day itself, we have a northwest-southeast split, staying quite cloudy, outbreaks of rain, a fresher breeze towards the northwest, drier and sunnier towards the southeast, but some showers pushing into some southeastern parts later. These could turn heavy and thundery. Still hot in the east, but not as hot as it has been, and temperatures towards the north and west, well, mid-20s really for many here. Into Sunday, and we have some cloudy wet weather sweeping its way eastwards. It's not particularly heavy rain or all that persistent, but most of us will see some outbreaks of rain, but there should be some brighter, sunnier weather around as well, and temperatures, well, they're going to be so much more comfortable for many of us than they have been recently, dropping to much closer to average for the time of year. Bye-bye.
Expect warm spells with the odd rude interruption. Box Boiler sponsors the weather on GB News.
No matter the state it's in, this is our nation. Join me, Jacob Rees-Mogg, for a genuine, honest discussion on where we have been, where we are going, and where we are with the people who set the direction. Tune in to State of the Nation every Monday to Thursday, 8 to 9 o'clock, only on GB News.
We're celebrating a golden summer with a terrific 2-part Great British giveaway. First, you could win a sensational £60,000 in tax-free cash. And that's not all, as you'll also win our most precious prize to date, a fine gold bar worth over £5,000. For a chance to win, text GOLD to 63225. One entry costs £2.50 plus one standard network rate message. Or text BONUS to 63225. 5 entries cost £5 plus one standard network rate message. Go to gbnews.com/win. Entry start at £2.50. Call 0903 686 3232. Calls cost £2.50 plus your network access charge. Or post your name and number to GB22 PO Box 8690 Derby DE1 9TT. UK only. Entrance must be 18 or over. Lines close at 4 p.m. on the 21st of August. This is a network giveaway. Entries will be pulled. Please check the closing time if listening or watching on demand. Good luck.
Some people enjoy lazy Sunday mornings, but not me.
What's the truth of the matter?
So that's a very live question.
Would you support him if he waters down these plans?
Before the spin sets in, I'll be getting to the truth.
This is personal.
No soft questions, no easy answers.
It's one thing if the state has rules in this country. It's another thing whether the police and others actually police them.
Setting the agenda and holding those in power to account.
You can't really blame her if the system is set up this way.
You will not want to miss it, trust me. The Camilla Tominey Show, Sundays from 9:30, only on GB News.
Exciting news. Every Friday, my Patrick Christie's Tonight Show is going to have a twist to it. We're welcoming some special guests. You. That's right, on Fridays I'm going to be doing my show in front of a live studio audience because this show is about you and what you have to say. It's going to be the same big debates, same big topics, same big opinions. But every Friday night at 9 p.m, you are invited to come on down to Patrick Christie's Tonight to be a part of the action. Only on GB News, the People's Channel, Britain's news channel. As soon as it hits 11 and the headlines come in,
Late Edition brings you the breaking news from all the front pages.
because the news is going to happen.
So get a head start today.
Patrick Christie's Tonight, Late Edition.
Alex Armstrong Tonight, Late Edition. From 11 o'clock every night.
Only on GB News, the People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
From court mornings
to warm family brunches,
from football to tennis in the car,
in the kitchen.
GB News Breakfast is there with the stories you need and the conversations that matter.
Anyway, let's talk business.
Well, it has been a historic night in British politics.
It's astonishing, isn't it?
We're here again to start your day just right. GB News Breakfast.
Every morning from 6 a.m.
Only on GB News.
Britain's news channel.
Welcome to Friday Night with me, Matt Goodwin, only on GB News, the People's Channel, where I speak up for the forgotten majority of people in this country. Coming up on tonight's show, killers, rapists and sex offenders are set to walk free as the Labour government